All right, so with that, Al?
Okay, thank you very much. Somebody did mention to me, they came up, they said, I'm looking forward to your talk. You know, I really know nothing about your company. I said, okay, that makes two of us. Anyway, so what I'd like to do today is really cover a broad base of topics, and there's maybe one little theme I'll come to at the end of the session that will become kind of self-evident about BD. But also, too, I'd like to keep it informal, so if you have questions as we go along, please feel free to ask. I'd be more than happy to make it a little bit interactive, because a lot of these slides are kind of canned corporate slides and stuff like that, so they may be a little bit dry, but certainly please feel free to ask me anything. So what I wanted to do was tell you a little bit about Becton Dickinson. Interesting thing about Becton Dickinson, about their role in medical technology, which is a very broad role. It's probably touched all of your lives in one way or another throughout your lifetime. If you've ever seen a doctor or ever have had a blood sample taken or ever gotten a vaccination, which I'm sure you probably all have. And also their role in North Carolina, which is quite extensive. Becton and Dickinson were two guys, and they were both actually from North Carolina, where they started the company over 100 years ago. So BD is, I'll give you a little bit more background as far as where we're located, but we actually have 5 sites in North Carolina, all doing very different things, believe it or not, and all except for 2 of them reporting totally different within the organization. So we have BD Technologies, where I represent, which is right across the street, and that's part of our corporate organization. We have a facility in Treyburn, in Durham, a manufacturing facility for BD Discovery Labware, which is part of our bioscience business. I'll be an expert on all of this by the time I'm done. We have a new facility going up in Wilson, North Carolina, which is good because my father-in-law is a dentist out there. He's looking for some good business, so he's very good with benefits. And that's going to be working on our pre-filled business, our drug delivery business. That's part of BD Medical, a totally different part of the organization. And then we have 2 facilities, one here in the Triangle and one in Burlington. In Burlington, it's very good. It's very easy. On 40, when you're driving and you see the Hooters sign, billboard, it's right behind that. Can't miss it. That's BD TriPath. And they are involved in diagnostic testing, specifically for female disorders, pap smear screening, and developing a whole suite of cancer assays, initially focused in the areas of ovarian and cervical cancer. So earlier diagnosis of cancers, particularly affecting women. So that gives you a little bit of breadth from where we come. The other interesting tidbit fact of Becton Dickinson is there is actually a university, Fairleigh Dickinson, probably nobody, but which is the same Dickinson family as Becton Dickinson, and I'm actually an alum of Fairleigh Dickinson. Probably the best thing about that is they never once sent me a request to donate money. So, any case, again, I have my phone up here in case it rings. I'm waiting for my wife to call me and thank me for the flowers I sent her for Mother's Day, but I'm not going to answer it. But I just want you to see. I guess, well, maybe if she doesn't call now in 30 hours, maybe they weren't good enough. So, what I want to do today is give you an overview, an introduction to BD as an organization. Talk a little bit about BD Technologies, as far as what do we actually do in that building. And I tell you, I've lived in the park for a while, and it's they don't make a lot of noise. So anyway, so we'll let the cat out of the bag today. And also to the current focus. When I say current focus, not just what we're doing in BD Technologies, but what BD is doing organizationally on a worldwide basis. And then a little bit, just at the end, just to tell you a little bit about the corporate citizenship activities that BD participates in, because me being somebody who's worked in the healthcare field all my career since getting out of grad school, it makes me feel really good coming to work each day knowing that the company cares just as much about the developing world as it does the developing world, making sure our products and technology reach them. So I really have to say it's a company with a conscience that you can feel really proud to come to work, regardless of what happens during the day. So I'm sorry, it's one of those slides where I got to press the button every time, so I have no idea what's coming up. So who is BD? We are a Fortune 500 company. It's probably safe to say we're still a Fortune 500 company. We may even have moved up on the list a little bit in these current economic times. We were founded in 1897 by two guys. They met on a train from North Carolina. We have locations in 50 countries around the world. BD is very well known. I mean, one of the things that BD is world class is making things in very high quality, in very large quantity, and getting them out to the customers. So that is really an inherent skill that we have, taking technology, turning it into products, and really making those products better, faster, less expensive than anybody else without sacrificing quality. We have about 28,000 employees worldwide. And we serve, as you'll see as I go through some of our product areas, we serve a whole variety of customers. We have a very broad base of customers consisting of healthcare institutions, hospitals, life science researchers, NIH researchers, clinical laboratories like Quest down the road in Burlington, headquartered in Burlington, as well as the general public, consumer businesses. And we sell, as you will see, a very broad range of supplies, services, devices, equipment, and diagnostic products, from little plastic tubes to big pieces of equipment that cost half a million dollars. So, I mean, we are kind of like a mutual fund. I'd like to kind of describe it in the medical technology field. When we look at our competitors, and I'll show you a list of some of our competitors, there really is no one company out there like BD. All of our competitors compete in certain aspects, but not across the board in the way that we do. So we're located in nearly 50 countries. We actually have physical locations in those. U.S., Canada, you've probably heard of those places. North Latin America, South Latin America, Europe, Asia Pacific, Japan. We are not in Antarctica, unless I hit this button. So, and as I mentioned, we have a corporate mission. I mean, one of our corporate objectives is not just bringing new products and technology to the world. It's particularly making sure those new products and technologies reach the emerging world markets. And that has specific challenges, because if you make a piece of equipment that costs $500,000, you know, and then you're trying to bring that to a clinic to test people for their CD4 levels to determine how if their AIDS or HIV is progressing, how do you do that in a place where they don't have electricity? Now ride that bike quick, you know, get that engine going. So BD has three businesses. Bioscience, which is our smallest one. I'll tell you about these. BD Medical, which is our largest one, and BD Diagnostics, which is right in between. Last year's revenues were over $7 billion. BD Technologies, as I mentioned before, is a corporate research organization, so we are not part of any one of these business segments. Actually, these three business segments, these are our operating units. They have their own sales forces. They have their own manufacturing facilities. Like the plant in Treyburg here, they manufacture products specifically for BD Biosciences.